Commissioners' meeting is now in session. Today is Monday, March 4th. We have two commissioners with us today, myself obviously, and Commissioner Wright. Commissioner Bardsley will not be here today. So if you would please stand, join me in prayer, and then I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's remember Mark Bardsley's wife this morning. She's going under a second surgery. That she had one on Friday, and what they found, they needed to do a little bit more surgery on her today. So let's remember him and his wife in prayer. Father, we just thank you for this time, and we just thank you for what you do for us every day. Lord, we do ask you to be with the Bardsleys right now as she's in surgery. Let everything go well. Let the doctors know exactly what to do to heal her body. Lord, we can't thank you enough for what you do for us each and every day. Just bless us and use us today. Let us make good decisions for our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Jarvis, I need to do these claims separately, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, moving on to current claims, minutes, and payroll. For claims dated February 26, 2024, this was pre-approved. We're looking for a ratification, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. General, $119,449.60. Other, $152,887.97. Highway is $33,441.36. for a grand total of $305,778.93. I give the pre-approval on that on 12/26, so I just need a motion to ratify that.
Actually, it was given on 2/26.
2:20.
What did I say?
12.
2/26, 24. I'm sorry.
Mr. President, I would move that we ratify the claims in the amount of $305,778.93 from 2/26/24.
Motion by Mr. Wright. I will second that motion. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Next, we have claims dated March 4th, 2024 that needs approved. General, $544,103.24. Other, $110,043.28. Highway, $34,124.33 for a grand total of $688,270.85.
Mr. President, I would move that we pass claims of $688,270.85 for the date of 3/4/24.
Motion by Mr. Wright. I second that motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to payroll. This would be payroll number 5. Pre-approval was given on February 27th, 2024. Pay dated March 1st, 2024. Gross amount was $638,428.58. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I would move that we ratify payroll number 5 in the amount of $638,428.58.
Motion, Mr. Wright. I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Second here. We have two county commissioner regular session minutes that need to be approved, dated December 18th, 2023, and January 2nd, 2024. Commissioner Wright, did you have a chance to
I
look
did.
at that? Any questions?
None.
I'll entertain a motion, please.
I would move that we pass as presented the minutes from December 18th, 2023 and January 2nd, 2024.
Motion by Mr. Wright. I will second that. If there's no other questions or concerns, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. We will move on to communications and board updates, elected officials, boards, special committees. Ms. Jarvis, anything?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Anybody else? Is Mr. Jackson in the room? Morning, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
So normally we would have had a briefing, our monthly briefing this morning. However, we are looking at changing that format just a little bit. Nobody needs another meeting to attend. I think we can all agree. So what we'll do is, I think we'll send that briefing out in an email. We're gathering some information now. I've talked to the health department this morning. A couple of other agencies. I haven't heard back from the hospital yet, but we'll make sure all the same data is put in the briefing, and we'll send that out monthly. And as always, we reserve the right to call everybody together if we need to. So, so far everything right now looks pretty good. Nothing really trending hard. However, the solar eclipse task force will meet Wednesday. That's our big item for this month, actually, unless something changes in the weather. But we're working toward that, and we'll keep you posted.
All that looking well?
It is. So it's coming together. There is a lot more local event planning taking place. So it's good for the community, good for the county. So we just want to make sure that we manage it well from the emergency response side.
Okay. Excellent.
All right. Questions?
I don't think so.
All right. Thank
Thanks
you.
for your work on the eclipse.
Yeah.
No, glad to do it.
We hope that that's not as big as what a problem as what they're claiming it's going to be.
The closer we get, the more it grows. It's taken on. Well, you've been to some of those
Yep.
meetings, so yeah. The city now has several things planned and lots of things going on around the county. So it's a good opportunity. It is. You don't want-
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks for your work on that.
Yep. Thank you very much.
You need me to stay here for? Sure.
So,
Good morning, gentlemen. I actually have two things. If I could move the item number 3, new business, up and take care of that while I'm here, that would be greatly appreciative.
sure.
That is a cell phone stipend request for my operations manager. Like myself, she is on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. She fields most of the operational phone calls, staff calling off, vacation requests, and that kind of stuff. So she does use her phone quite extensively for work-related issues, and would greatly appreciate a cell phone stipend to compensate her for that.
I reviewed it. Any
I
questions?
did too.
Okay.
Mr. President, I would move that we give a cell phone stipend request that Mr. Hicks is presenting us with due to a work assignment for her.
Motion by Commissioner Wright. I will second that motion. Any other comments or concerns? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, gentlemen. The other thing that I have for you today is a public safety radio update, just to kind of touch base on how we got where we are today and where we're going in the future. I know neither one of you two were here when Central Dispatch got up and running, so I just want to give you guys a brief history and an update on where we are today. You guys have a copy of the slide presentation as well. I got into communications in 2004 at the Sheriff's Department. Before 2006, all of our public safety agencies operated on their independent VHF repeaters. And after 9/11, the state of Indiana began working on a statewide interoperability system. In 2006, the Grant County Sheriff's Department and Marion City Police Department and shortly after that, Grant County EMS all transferred from their VHF systems to the statewide IPSC system. That left the county fire departments and the Marion Fire Department remaining on their VHF systems for many years. In 2007, Marion Health EMS and Grant County EMS moved to the IPSC system for all radio traffic except paging. We did not have the technology to page over 800. And then in 2011, Commissioner Mark Bardsley, David Gleckville, and Mike Burton signed ordinance number 10-2011, creating the Grant County Public Safety Operations Center Policy Board. In 2016, the Sheriff's Department purchased new portable radios ahead of the 2017 IPSC deadline for a P25 Phase 1 requirement, which P25 is a communication protocol. It's like Windows and Mac. It's an operating system for the radios. In 2019, the renovations began at the Salem Bank building. I went over there every week and took pictures of the updates as they demolished, as they restructured, as they built, and as we opened. As the renovations went through, several committees were picked out. The design committee, I am not an interior designer. I was not on that committee. I left that to the ladies of the committee. They can pick out the colors in the carpet. Works fine for me. However, Mr. Elliott and myself were on the tech committee. We looked at all aspects of the technology for that committee, down to the keyboards and the mice that were going to be used in the center. This committee had representation from the Sheriff's Department, the Marion Police Department, Marion Fire, Grant County Fire Mutual Aid, Grant County EMS, and of course Grant County IT. As a tech committee, we met weekly, and our largest and hardest decision was what radio system would be best to serve the first responders of the county. We had three options. One, we could remain on the IPSC system, which was Motorola. We could purchase our own Motorola system, or we could purchase our own Kenwood system. And some factors that led into our decision was ever since we went to the IPSC system, we were plagued with a site trunking issue, which is where the site loses connectivity to the host or the brains, thereby putting Grant County on an island. We could not communicate with anybody outside Grant County, and if our first responders were further out from Marion, we could not communicate with them. As I note on the slide, if a officer was in Van Buren connected to the Warren site, and an officer was in Point Isabel connected to the Tipton site, they could communicate, but we at dispatch could not hear them. That plagued us until 2019, when they finally resolved that issue. Because of that issue and several other issues, the recommendation was made to purchase a private radio system that would serve Grant County and be maintained by Grant County. An RFP was placed, and we did receive two proposals, one from Motorola Solutions, which would have been supported by Emergency Radio Service in Fort Wayne, and then J&K Communications, which would have been supported by Kenwood. After much deliberation, the Tech Committee made the recommendation to purchase the Kenwood P25 system from J&K Communications. The Policy Board approved it. It was presented to the County Commissioners and the County Councils to approve it and also finance it. So why are we here today? The current equipment that the Grant County Sheriff's Department has, they have a fleet of 50 vehicles with mobile radios. Those radios were manufactured in 2009. So those are nearly 15 years old. They have 50 portables that were assigned to the deputies. They wear them on their vest. Those are their lifelines when they're out of the car. Those radios were manufactured in 2016.
2006?
Oh, wait, yeah, I'm sorry. That is 2006.
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, that should be 2016.
16, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's a typo. The Grant County EMS has a fleet of 10 radios and mobiles. Those were manufactured in 2006. They also have 30 portables assigned, and that is 2006 as well. The Grant County Communications Plan by Ordinance 12-2019 governs public safety communication in the county. That plan does require that all first responders be phase 2 by July 1st of 2025. The current radios in Grant County will not meet that requirement. It is imperative that we upgrade their equipment so that way we can keep communicating into the future. 2025 is right around the corner. It seems like the further we get, the quicker it goes. So it'll be here tomorrow. So we need to work together to resolve that issue and bring safety to our responders. Are there any questions?
Not from me at this time. It's very informative and well done.
Thank you.
I know the sooner the better on this because it is a safety issue. And I know we've had some instances here lately where communications were absolutely dropped with some serious type things going on in our community. Can you explain to us a little bit about the state police and their system and how we interact with them? And because that seems to be an issue as well, correct?
So the state police, they operate on their system, the IPSC system. That's a statewide system. And up until 2019 or 2020, we operated there as well. So because they operate on two separate systems, it's hard to monitor both systems because if you do, you lose your priority on your dispatch channel. So if I call an officer on the radio, and if he's listening to something on the other system, he won't hear my traffic. So there's equipment out there that will eliminate that for the sheriff's department. It's just what is the best option to do that. We do monitor state police dispatch in our comm center, and we do monitor the regional mutual aid in our comm center as well, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And I've been going to some of their meetings. I think we got another one coming up next week. Or
I think it's next week.
It's next week. And it is an issue
Yeah.
that we've really got to take a look at and see how we can help. I know, the firemen are in the kind of a little bit of the same boat with not being able to talk and things and worried about their safety as well and stuff. So I'm not really sure what you're expecting today, Mr.
Just
Hicks?
purely information.
Just information.
Purely information.
Okay, so,
It was last year, was it last year? The city of Marion did invest significantly into their infrastructure, their police department, their fire department, their buses, their maintenance workers. They all got new radios, and they are all operating on our system.
yeah. And then also, we're not just talking the sheriff's department, we're talking about the highway department.
So the highway department operates on a UHF system, is that right, Mr. Wright? And that's, again, independent, standalone.
Okay. Will that help them or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a county-owned system. We maintain it, we own it. I've got a 10-year agreement with J&K Communications to maintain it. So if there's an issue, we have 24-hour response.
Okay.
So we are required, both by FEMA, NIMS, even the state of IPSC, to be interoperable. So all of our agencies need to be able to communicate together, particularly in a time of disaster. That communication needs to all come together currently. We're getting closer, but we still have folks that are left out of that interoperability. So it's a huge deal, both from a safety factor and from, there again, federal government requires a lot of us, but that's not our main thing. The overriding safety issues are.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to at least meet that interoperability. And this goes a long way. We know it's costly, but the county has already made a pretty good investment, big investment in
$4.2
these
million.
communications. Yeah. So the deadline of July 2025, next year, it's coming close. There again, if we're going to make full use and get good payback out of the monies we've already spent, we really need to continue that as best we can.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Commissioner Wright and I have had some conversation, and Martin Parsley as well, with, there's needs and there's wants, we know that. So we're not looking for the Cadillac here, we're looking, what do we have to do to at least meet that interoperability? So hopefully by next week, we'll have some good figures for you.
That's what I was going to ask for. Yeah. So maybe plan on coming back to our next meeting here in March, and let's take another look at it. If that makes sense,
Yep,
Mr. President.
it does. Yep, I agree.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
great,
Jenna, for
great
your time.
presentation. Thanks.
Yep.
Kind of gives us a little bit of a better picture of what we're up against.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Real quick, before we proceed, we do have the county treasurer's monthly report, and I want to show it as received. It's dated February 21st of 2024, so we will show that as received.
Yep.
Any other elected officials, boards, special committees? So last month, the Board of Commissioners, we named Mr. Daniel Young to the BZA committee, and Mr. Young is here today. And I just wanted to invite you to come up, and if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'd love to get a little more familiar with you.
Thank you for inviting me. My name is Daniel Young. I founded Kingdom Roofing here in Grant County. I also own the Covenant Place, which we opened up a few months ago. Moved here from Indianapolis in 2006, made it my home. My family's from Indianapolis and lives there, but I've chosen Grant County to be my home for me and my family. We've got deep roots here and love serving the community, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve with the BZA board.
Great, thank you. So, Mr. Persinger,
Yes.
we named him to the board last month. Is there anything else that
Just
commissioners need
the
to
oath
do?
of office before he starts. If,
Okay.
I mean, if you want me to administer that to Mr. Young, we can do that and get him all set and ready to go.
That would be
Perfect,
great
all right,
if
Mr. Chairman.
you guys are okay with that.
Absolutely.
All right. Just need you to raise your right hand, Mr. Young. I, Daniel Young, do solemnly swear
I, Daniel Young, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully
impartially,
and impartially
and diligently
and diligently
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of the Grant County Board of Zoning Appeals
of the office of Grant County Board of Zoning Appeals
according to law and the best of my ability.
according to the law and the best of my ability. Perfect.
That's great.
Thank you, sir.
Need your signature right
Yes, sir.
there.
Thank you. Anything else?
I'm good. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for your willingness to serve. Mr.
Appreciate it.
Young.
Thank you very much.
you.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
very
Put
much.
this in the appropriate place,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
Kyle.
All righty.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Persinger.
Thank you.
IT report.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Sir.
All right, just got one item for today. As you all know, we had the data center project, and we finally got it wrapped up just in January. And part of that also came upgrading some of our servers to a newer version of Windows. So the new data center came with software for us to migrate our existing stuff from the old system to the new system. And that's worked really well for the most part. However, we did run into an issue with one particular server that manages the access control for the jail and the central dispatch, and I think the detention center as well. And basically the fix for us is just to migrate that data off of that old server on the old system and move it to a new server on the new system. And it also includes an upgrade as well, which I know that system hasn't been updated since, what, 2017, 2018? Yeah, it was Paul White. I think he did it last time. So I got a quote through Stanley, since they currently help us manage that system, since it's all tied in with the jail. And so to migrate that system off and to do the update and the upgrade, it was a one-time fee of $8,184.29.
Can you say that again, that number?
Yeah, $8,184.29. And that's just the work and services to get us moved off and to upgrade it.
Do you have that in your contractual?
Yeah, it would come out of my contractual
Okay, perfect.
services, yeah.
Perfect. Chair, ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I would move that we give Mr. Elliott the authority to go ahead and enter into a contract for $8,184.29.
We have a motion by Mr. Wright. I will second that motion. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And Justin, I don't know if you want
I'll take care of it.
to, be able to take a look at it? Okay. All right, yep, that's all I have,
Thank you.
gentlemen. Thanks
All right,
again.
Elliott.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. White. Morning.
Morning. Thank you.
This is just a copy of the bridge last Monday out on EOOW that we did the deck on last Monday morning, and the concrete break came back today. It's clear to go, so we'll start moving all the false work. I would say it's probably going to be another couple months before we get the bridge open, but it's moving along, just to update you on that, so.
Okay.
That's all that was for, so. I presented a couple weeks ago about the DocuSign that Mr. Stewart will have to sign since he's president, and I know I got a copy of the old one that Mr. Bardsley, you passed a resolution to allow him to sign. I guess before we get started, I would like to kind of think if you guys would maybe look at maybe possibly allowing me to sign the DocuSign. I still got to present everything to you gentlemen, that, you know, how much the amount is and all that, but I'll be honest with you, I think it'd probably be a little easier for me to do it. And I don't know if that's something that you want to talk to Kyle about, you know,
Justin,
before.
what do you think? Is that,
Yeah, I think it would be acceptable. It would still, he would still seek your approval.
Okay.
You're just giving him the authority
approval
to
to sign.
sign on behalf of the county.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I was gonna say, because sometimes I only have like 48 hours to respond back, so I know with your jobs and stuff, it's not quite as easy as me being there all the time, so.
Yeah. Yep.
If you don't mind, I'll look into that a little bit in the future, but I'd like to kind of get it set up that maybe I could sign off, and then, like he said, I'll present how much it is and all that prior to doing the actual signature, so.
Anything you can take off my plate, I'm all for.
Okay, all right.
It's just reducing it to an email instead of him having to actually, you know, see you face to face, you know,
Okay.
within the time frame.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll get some more on that then. The next thing I had to bring up is, I don't know how Justin stuck me with this job, but he stuck me with his job, so. I got a phone call, or Justin did a couple weeks ago, on right-of-way. I'll show you. This is for right-of-way on the courthouse square, State Road 18. This is with NDOT, and what they'd like to do is actually purchase this parcel, these little two areas, for their traffic control for State Road 18 and Adams Street, Washington Street. And what they do is, they've got a buyer or appraiser that gave all the information on what it appraised for. It appraised for $1,100 and some dollars, is what they would like, $1,100. So what they'd like to do is to, if you agree to accept this amount, you just need to sign off accepting all this, these places, and then I can get it submitted back to.
Do we know what this is gonna look like? This isn't gonna be some tall
No,
pole?
no, the way I have understood it, the pole's already there, they just need to update them, and since it's not currently in their right-of-way system,
Okay.
they want to get it in their right-of-way system, so.
Can you maybe get us a picture?
Sure. Yeah.
from them to let us see what that looks like. What I don't want to do is take anything away from the aesthetics of downtown square,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the way I understand it, it's just gonna be a basically, additional, pole out there with the controllers, I would say, so.
Is there a timeline on this or anything like that?
He didn't say anything to me about it, so I can.
I haven't
Yeah, I was
spoken
gonna
with
say,
him.
I'll get with him and see if he can get us something in.
I mean, I'd really like to see something.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, no, I think we're all for it, but
Yeah.
I don't disagree with Commissioner Wright. It'd be nice to see what that would look like, so
Okay.
maybe you could reach out and get that, and then we
Yep.
could sign off on it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Has it been ran through Kyle at all?
No.
That'd be
I'm just,
another thing.
I'm just curious of any downside, any legal ramifications.
I agree.
Yeah, likewise.
I agree.
Well, this is all, he's actually working for the state, is what he's doing, so, I mean, he's just a buyer for the state for right away, so
Okay.
it's not, it's pretty much standard, so, but I'll give that to him.
Can you
Kyle.
check on those two things, and maybe at the next meeting, get back with us, and
Okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with upgrading our current system and stuff like that. Like I say, I just don't want to.
Right.
I don't want an ugly thing sticking up.
I
Makes
agree.
sense.
Yeah.
And this is kind of our projected road list of paving we'd like to kind of look at this year, so. It's kind of like a wish list, and I've already gave a copy to Brooks Construction on all this, so. Just kind of update you where we are on that, so hopefully we can get most of these roads paved in 2024. This is not including the 8 miles that we did for community crossing that we applied for. It's not on there, it's kind of separate, but we did, applied for that back in December, so we should hear something, I'd hopefully hear in the next month or so on that, so.
Okay, looks good.
It's a lot of paving.
Yeah. I'm supposed to go to the council meeting, I believe, this council meeting in March, and I'm asking for another additional, like, 1.2 million for paving projects, so.
Okay.
Not 20 miles.
Part of that is
Yeah.
from, wheel tax.
Ah,
Part of it's for the wheel tax, another 900,000 for that, so.
good.
Just to update you on that.
Yep.
The only other thing I think I was gonna bring up is I just wanted to make sure it was all right that April 1st, we went back to 4 10-hour days. If that's all right with you gentlemen, just wanted to make
Do you
sure.
need a motion on that?
As long as you guys are all right with it, that's fine with me.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Yep.
Sounds good.
That's all I
Is
have.
20 about normal? Is that what you do, 20 miles a year?
No, it's probably usually 12 to 15 miles, so hopefully with the wheel tax, we can get
Yeah.
a lot more done, that's what, so.
Be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right, we will move on to new business, presentation of agreements, Terrace Street Health Department. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'll move this over a little. As you may recall, I have to do mine first.
Okay.
Back in June of 2023, the commissioners passed a resolution to opt into the Health First Indiana funding that was being provided by the state. We have received those funds. One of the things that we have to do is meet some key performance indicators that are more specific to the health needs in our area. So for year one, some of the community partnerships we would like to establish, and we're excited about them, will address chronic disease, obesity, and harm reduction, specifically our addiction issues in our community. So I can go through these MOUs that we've established for these community partnerships. I don't know if you want me to address them one at a time, or if you would like me to go over all 5 of them, and then we'll address them at the end.
I think you could just go over all 5 of them.
Okay.
And-
The first is with a continuing education company. They offer a course called Diabesity, Improving Patient Outcomes with Diagnosis and Management. We would like to offer that to all providers in our community, we would fund the cost of the course. And there is a correction I need to make on there. It says it's capped at 14. Because they provided us such a discount, we can actually make that 16 providers in the community. They would just take the course, they would be required to complete a survey afterwards, and then we would ask them late this year or early next year to report back how they feel like it's improved their patients' outcomes. We would like to offer Purdue Extension of Grant County $10,000 to provide the Dining with Diabetes program to all of our citizens who are open to it. This program, they actually will take it to small groups. It's a 4-week program. They cook meals, they teach them how to cook to deal with their diabetes and manage it better. It's typically $40 a class. We would just like to scholarship absolutely anybody that $40 is a problem for. We would like to partner with the Wellness Center. They have a walking program where for $1 a day you can come in and use their track, or for $12.50 a month. We would like to max it at $3,000 a year, but just offer to cover that fee for any citizen that struggles to come up with it. $1 a day seems simple to some of us, but to a lot in our community, that's a big deal. Also, the YMCA has a walking program for $5 a month. We would like to scholarship anyone that finds that $5 to be a problem. That also would be capped at $3,000 a year. And then Bridges to Health, we would like to provide $50,000 to them to fund their third peer support specialist. They're very short on funding. They had received a grant, started spending the grant, and then got word from the state, never mind, we can't give it to you after all. So they're extremely short on funding for their third peer support specialist. They also are trying to create and develop some new programs, a peer advisory council, and a youth prevention program. We would like to just grant them the $50,000 towards those programs and that peer support specialist. So do you have any questions for me?
I do not.
I'm trying to, there's a lot of intake there, and I was trying to kind of keep up with you in this. I couldn't follow you. When it comes to, I think you mentioned about something about, was there any type of opioid use or anything in this at all, or not? Did I hear anything in your presentation?
No, the peer support specialist to Bridges, they deal with addictions.
Okay. So,
You mean, are we getting opioid funds?
no, well, that's what I was kind of, when I heard
This is
that,
separate, I think.
this would be separate from any kind of opioid, even though it's an
Correct.
addiction type thing, that wouldn't come into the health department at all?
No.
Okay, I
No
just
opioid things.
verifying. Okay, very good, thank you. Okay,
I think it's a tremendous thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's, I would be kind of curious to know in 5-6 months, just to kind of see who's kind of taking you up on it, for lack of better terms.
Well, we have already actually so I didn't learn until recently that an MOU is a contract that the commissioners have to approve. So all of these entities have already seen this.
Okay.
I also have to post it on the state website for 30 days before we can actually spend the monies. So there is when we come next year with this, I will have it much better organized.
That's okay.
and so as Mr. Persinger looked through this,
Yes.
and we're good?
Yes.
Okay,
We tried to keep them incredibly simple. Reporting is required on each one because we have to report to the state. So I will gladly bring back some reports to you mid-year about how it's going.
That'd be great.
And then
Yeah,
we have a
I'd
few
be-
more that we're still developing that I'll bring back.
Yeah.
We're
So-
working on a maternal mental health course to offer providers, and another walking program.
So Commissioner Wright, these are just 5 separate, if you look.
I saw that.
Okay,
Mhm,
I just want to make sure.
Yep, yep,
We're on the same page
Yep,
there, so it's
yep.
just 5 separate ones, so.
yep.
I think it's a good thing.
And we can
I'm all for
pass
it.
this all in one? These MOUs?
Yes, you can. And you would be authorizing Tara to sign on behalf of the health department.
Okay. So we would need a motion to approve the MOUs, correct?
We would.
Each one of them. So I'll make a motion that we pass a memorandum of understanding between Grant County Health Department and Continue Education Company. Memorandum of understanding between Grant County Health Department and Purdue Extension of Grant County. Memorandum of understanding between the Grant County Health Department and the Wellness Center. And memorandum of understanding with the Health Department and Grant County YMCA. And the last one would be MOU, Memorandum of Understanding between Grant County Health Department and the Bridges to Health Core Plus program. Put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wright. I second that motion. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hello. So I'm here just in the event that you guys have questions reference the internship. I believe Justin would have submitted it to you folks as well.
So this young lady
Yes.
reached out to Dean by email or by phone?
Right, email.
A couple weeks ago. She's a Purdue student needing to do an internship in public health. And Dean is more than willing to work with her and do that, but wanted to address any questions or concerns you had in advance.
So this is the affiliation agreement by and between Grant County Health Department and Purdue University, is that correct? Okay,
It is quite lengthy.
it is.
It's-
Read through it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Attorney has reviewed it. He pointed out 3 separate things. One, under Section 8, he's questioning the insurance amounts, if they were okay. They're all acceptable terms.
Okay.
Right around $1 million range.
Yep.
Section 11 contains an automatic rollover clause, but we can get out of that with, either side can get out of that with a 90-day written notice. So as long as that's acceptable to
Okay.
you. And then Section 13, you would just need to fill out who gets notice under the contract. That would be the president of the commissioners, Mr. Stewart. Okay. Other than that, looks good.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion if you, unless you have
I would
questions.
make that motion. If I would move that we pass the affiliation agreement between the Grant County Health Department and Purdue University Global Incorporated.
Motion by Mr. Wright. I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
So up next on the agenda, we have Jail Review Committee. I'll just give a brief update and talk about what that is. So I've been meeting with County Councilman Mike Scott and Sheriff Dale Garcia a couple times outside of here, just to kind of talk about what's going on with the jail. As we've discussed many times before, our jail is very inadequate, and we have to do something. We have to do something regarding what that is. So we've gotten together just kind of to talk and discuss what that looks like. Are we looking at a new jail? Are we going to look at remodeling this? We brought the detention center. We've brought that up. A couple of other ideas. So we've met a couple times to discuss that, and then we were kind of told that it might be a good idea for us to form what's called, I don't know how official it is, but it's just called a jail review committee. And the reason for that is we can show the state of Indiana that we are making efforts and moving forward to try to rectify the situation. So the jail review committee, we decided, is going to be comprised of myself, Mr. Scott from the county council, and Sheriff Del Garcia. So the county council, at their last meeting, they kind of already went through and approved that. and they approved Mr. Scott to be that representative. And so today, I'm just looking for a motion to approve myself to be on that committee, to form the committee, and then also I'm going to looking to put myself on that committee to continuing those discussions. Again, we're just trying to show good faith to the state of Indiana that we are trying to rectify the problem that we have here in Grant County. So
I suppose that would be my motion.
that would be your motion, yes, sir.
That would be my motion to have you represent the commissioners on the jail study committee.
And I will second that motion. Is there any discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Mr. Sahoff, ratification of trash removal agreement.
Yes, so we had to basically reassess our trash removal for the 4 locations downtown, behind Central Dispatch, the courthouse, the jail, and then over at the D home. We were with Waste Management, approximately $2,800 a month. I did get quotes from Republic, that totaled $2,500 a month. Then I did a 2-way solution with a combination of Best Way and the city of Marion. The city taking care of the courthouse, that came in at $200 a month. And then Best Way with all of the other dumpster solutions at $1,500 a month. So totaling $1,700 a month, that is the decision, and you guys approved that on February 26th. So just looking for ratification there. We're saving $1,100 a month, so.
That was my next question. I couldn't remember exactly how much we were saving, so great job.
Pretty
Good work.
significant.
Great, yeah, anytime we can save the taxpayers' money, we're all for it. And I know that's a lot of work on your part as far as,
We were under the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
But, and the contract, if you look at it, we removed almost half of that language, and they accepted it, so.
good,
We are good to go.
perfect. Any
Chair, ready for a
questions?
motion?
Yes, sir.
I would make a motion that we accept the bid from Best Way for a service agreement for our trash removal for the county.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wright. I second that motion. If there's no other questions or discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Thanks again, Justin.
Welcome, thank you.
One final thing on new business before we move on to public comment. The commissioners did come up with a date and a time for the solar meeting that has been discussed over the last couple months. We're going to do that Tuesday, April 9th of this year, and we'll start at 6 o'clock, and we'll go until no later than 7:30. I'd like to have it wrapped up by between 7 and 7:30. The drop dead date, drop dead time will be 7:30 on that, and that will be at the community building at the 4-H fairgrounds. So, how are we going to get the word out on that other than this year? Are we going to do anything?
It will be published in the newspaper.
Okay.
I'm going to do 2 advertisements, and then it'll be on our website as well.
Okay.
Along with the advertisement, it'll go out to all media.
Okay, excellent. So again, that's going to be Tuesday, April 9th of this year, from 6 to 7:30 at the community building at the 4-H fairgrounds. So. Commissioner Wright, do you have any other business you'd like to discuss? Okay. We will move on to public comment. I don't have my little thing that I read before every public comment, but I'm going to ask that we keep it to around 15, 20 minutes. And I do want to stress that the comments do need to be professional. We do need to maintain some decorum, and we do need to be orderly. So if anybody would like to speak, I would ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address, and we'll give you 2 or 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Bill Creech, and I live here in Marion. I just had a quick question. We keep hearing the references to the state in regard to the jail. Is there an actual itemized hit list of this needs fixed, this needs fixed, this needs fixed, this needs fixed? So you can at least start prioritizing those as A, B, C priorities and start knocking those out, you know? Because even if you do go to a new jail, you're looking at a long time down the thing. So in order, to me, with compliance with working with the state and a good faith effort, you almost need to say, these are the ones you identified, and these are the ones we've taken care of right now. Kind of maybe turn some of that talk into results to actually show it. That's just,
No, that's a great question and a good point, sir. So Sheriff's not in with us today, but I can say that no matter, we have no idea what direction we're taking this with yet. That's kind of what we're trying to do with this committee. But I will say that regardless of what we do, we are still going to maintain our current facility. So I'm sure Sheriff Garcia's got a list as long as my leg, and I'm pretty tall, so I'm sure he's got a list of those things. And so we are going to continue to maintain the jail while we figure out what the long-term solution is.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we were interacting with what the state was identifying and not just what we locally might think is the priority.
I think the state is basically saying you need a new jail from the people that I've talked to. So the state hasn't went through and said you need to fix this, and this. We're just kind of being told that we got to do something major, long-term to fix it.
Is that not
The sheriff
some-
is the one that'll have the list of things.
Is that not something you can request? To me, that seems like a very,
I would say that the jail study would be the closest to a
would too.
comprehensive list
Yeah, good point.
that we have, because it has all of the
Yeah,
underlying
and
factors.
honestly, the state or the feds are not going to get involved with this, and we really don't want them involved with this while we're going through this process, because what can happen is if there's a lawsuit, they're going to tell us what to build. They're going to tell us what to do. They're going to tell us everything. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that we're in a study, trying to figure out exactly what we need to do. And as long as you are moving the ball forward or up the field, they really can't come at us with anything. Because here's what's going to happen. If the feds get involved with this and stuff, they're going to tell us how many beds to build. They're going to tell us what to do. They're going to tell, and the sheriff's going to have to give a daily report. We as commissioners are going to have to give a report, I think, weekly. I mean, it's a big thing. So far, the feds and the state has not gotten involved with our jail, correct?
Correct, yep.
Am I correct with that? And we really don't want them to. We're trying to figure out exactly what we need as a community and not letting them tell us what to do, if that makes sense. Because it will cost us a lot more.
And it has happened in 2 counties here in Indiana recently.
Yes.
And forgive me, but I can't remember. I think Allen County.
Allen County and I believe Kokomo, isn't it? Howard County, yes.
So,
I guess I was just looking for more of a structured plan that these are the structural, difference between structural, cosmetic,
that would probably be in the jail study
wants
that
and
we had
needs,
done.
you know, the difference
Yeah.
between we want this, but what you actually need.
Yeah.
I think, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your comments.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Mike Spalding, 7895 West North 00 South, Swayze. First of all, I just want to thank you for finally setting up the date at which we'll all be able to speak with the commissioners out at the fairground. I wanted to make a public statement and clarify something from the council meeting when Mr. Wright was speaking to them on behalf of the fire departments with the public safety radios and everything. Chuck Poling piped in with his affiliation with Center Township Fire Department and made the statement that they didn't need new equipment, they just needed to update their old equipment, and they needed around $10,000 to do that. That I was unprepared when I was asked to speak in that meeting from remotely, but I immediately got with the fire chief of Center Township Fire and asked him for an assessment of what they had. And he gave me their old quote, which I got a hold of J&K and had them update it. It went from approximately $92,000 worth of stuff that they need up to $106,000 with the new pricing. So I just wanted it to be publicly clarified that Mr. Pulling misspoke greatly. And that's just one fire department. And that pricing is pretty much common among all 13. So like we had spoke before, they've went 2 or 3 times and tried to get the assistance to firefighter grant from the federal government, which they've been denied all 3 times. And when we did that, it was 1.1, I think, then 1.25, and now obviously we're going to be around $1.5 million for those 13 fire departments. So he grossly misspoke, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified. So other than that, like I said, I apologize for not being here for prayer and the pledge, but I appreciate you guys setting up that meeting. I look forward to being there.
Thank you. Mr. Spalding?
Yes, sir.
I do appreciate what somebody came up with, and I can't remember who that was, that said that, with this, we really, in your numbers and things like that, to get with Mr. Jackson or Mr. Hicks, to have them involved with that as they are our appointees, if you will.
Yeah.
And run those numbers by, and let's come up with a plan and see exactly what that is. Because again, a lot of volunteer fire people.
Absolutely.
Right.
And to that, I've been speaking with Kevin. I've been speaking with Brad Daly, who is our president of our mutual aid group. I think Bobby's been privy to some of that information, but what Brad is doing is he sent out correspondence Friday to get a hold of all the fire chiefs and asked them for an updated list of what they need, not a want list, but what they need in order to be, they feel to be at a minimum to be safe. They're going to get that list to him. I'm hoping to have it today. I'm going to get with J&K and update that. And what I'm really hoping for is by the end of this week to have some kind of comprehensive list of what each department needs or what we need as a group, so that I can get with them and discuss it, and they can actually come to you with the pricing.
Perfect.
As I know you've got a small group together, a committee for the ARPA funds, and to try and decide, finalize this last amount that we have. So I definitely want that information in your guys' hands so you can give it full consideration.
Good.
That did remind me, with the jail, even in our conversations, and Sheriff Garcia said several times that there are items that just can't be procured anymore for repairs over there. Being a jail, all I can envision is they're made out of steel. I manage a steel fabrication company. There's got to be some of these things that I can duplicate or replicate or make. And I would be more than willing to work with you when you're going through this as your committee. If there are things they can identify that maybe I can get my hands on, get some measurements, reverse engineer, whatever, I find it hard to believe that I can't help. So I'd be more than willing to do that.
That's awesome.
So, all right,
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
I know some of the things, we're getting from a San Antonio prison or jail or something like that, and it's closed.
Yeah.
And some of the equipment that we're getting is out of that old closed jail to fix our stuff because they don't make it anymore. So that
Yeah.
might be a good solution.
Yeah,
Because there is some safety issues.
All the
in our
items, all
offices.
the items in a jail are normally, inside the cells and stuff, they're stainless steel, or especially in the common areas, they're stainless steel. They're also, they tamper-resistant fasteners, smooth edges and all that. And my company and myself were real familiar with doing that. We've done a lot of jail remodels over the years and assisted with providing those products for, the toiletries and the bunks and everything else, so that there just isn't nothing that obviously inmates can use to harm themselves or others.
Right.
But the latches and locks and hinges and all that, we're also familiar with all that
Okay.
stuff, burglar bars type things. So like I said, if there's any way that you guys want me to look at something or whatever, I'm more than willing to do that. I'll help in any way I can.
Good.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Spalding.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
Good morning.
Linda Morgan from Upland. First of all, is the jail study completed and is it available?
It is completed. I believe we have a copy in the commissioner's office. Justin, is that correct?
We do.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea, Ms. Morgan, it's that thick.
Yeah. I
It's that
figured.
wide. It's that tall. So you're more than welcome.
There's a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Could I
You're-
have one of those?
I think you're welcome to look at it. I don't, they were pretty expensive. I don't know that we want to just
Just
give them out, but yeah, you're welcome to come in and
But
look
you
at
are
it
more than
anytime you
welcome
want.
to look at anything.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay?
How do you want input from the community on your jail review committee?
We're not to that point yet, ma'am. When we get to that point, I'll certainly let you know, but as of right now, we're not to the point yet where we're kind of bringing the public in. The whole reason why we're kind of keeping it at 3 people right now is just to, so we can kind of be focused on the goal, if that makes sense. We will get to a point where we will get public input and public comment on it, but we're just not there yet.
Okay.
Anything else?
I just wonder when you might, at what point are you're not going to be making decisions before that, right?
No, correct.
You're just going to make an assessment and,
We're in the very early stages, the earliest stages of it, yes. So-
and then who will you report to? Who will you report to? That committee? Who does that committee report to?
We don't report to anybody. It's just a separate committee. We're trying to figure out the next steps. We don't report it to anybody. We will at some point when we get some information and we get things that need to be communicated, we'll certainly communicate that in these meetings and also the county council meetings. But we don't necessarily report to anybody.
So if I could,
Yeah.
that's the reason there's a commissioner on there, there's a county councilman on there, and the sheriff. And they're trying to figure out what that looks like to bring it back to every entity that's represented on there. And so I guarantee there'll be plenty of time for input
Okay. Well, I
on the
know
jail.
people
Yeah.
are going to be asking questions.
You
and-
bet.
And what information.
Well, especially with the cost, right? Ms. Morgan, I mean,
Well, yeah.
it's some serious money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's no state or Fed money to come with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I was mentioning before, we really don't want them to come in and tell us what to do because they're going to tell you how much you got to spend and then we got to cut services or wherever. If we can't do that, they're telling us what to do. And so we're trying to figure out what is the least amount of money that we have to spend for our taxpayer dollars to get what we need to be efficient in what we do. And my thing is I know we've got 1,000 warrants for arrest right now, level 6 felony or higher. And there's over 1,000 of those, and we don't have a place to put them. So unless we find locations, which Mr. Sheriff Garcia is trying to do that, and it's going to cost us money. He's coming back with some hard numbers, I think, of what that fund would look like for the council. So again, the sooner we act, the faster we can go ahead and get to where we need to instead of giving other counties money for housing our people.
Right.
And the transportation, the vehicles, the manpower, we're in a little quandary, if you will.
I really liked the fact that locally, we might be able to get the parts made.
Yes.
And I think it would be important to include the community to know who around the area can do what the needs are, can fill the needs in.
And that's honestly why it's called a jail review committee, because all we're doing is reviewing things right now. We're not making any decisions. All the decisions obviously will be, when a decision is to be made, it'll be moved up to the Board of Commissioners and the County Council. So all the 3 of us are trying to do right now is just trying to figure out what our next step is. Very small little baby steps.
Yeah, and just popped in my head, but something of that massive amount of money is gonna be an election thing at some point, not this year, but down the road, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna get part of this.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Anybody else? Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Trina Raudebush. I'm with GeneX Solar. I just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce myself. As I've talked to a lot of community members about our project and about utility scale solar in general, they've encouraged me to become more visible, not just present and listening. So I wanted to take this chance to introduce myself. We are contemplating a $160 million capital investment in the county that should bring an estimated $30 million or more in tax revenue. And I was listening to the report earlier about the public safety radios. This is a possible solution to situations like that. I don't know that we can move this project fast enough to impact that one, but I don't think that's the last challenge that'll be brought before you. So we do want to be part of the community and investing in Grant County's future. Justin, I'm going to leave my card with you. If there are folks that have questions, I'm happy for you to share out phone number, email. Like I said, I've tried to be continually present here. I'm happy to engage with anyone on your time frame. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got about 4 minutes left. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody online that wishes to speak? Come on up, sir.
Hi, Harold King, 707 South Sam Street, Swayze. I was out of town during your last board meeting, but I commend you for this 6-month moratorium to study the solar projects in more detail. In Delaware County, recently, several elected officials said if they knew now the information that they didn't have 3 years ago, they'd have made different decisions. So information is always a good thing. Wabash County has a moratorium on all industrial solar. They're allowing residential, brown areas. And my question is, I wonder what they know that evidently we don't, because that's a recent development there. The current draft 4 is totally friendly to solar installation. Only about, well, let's say 99% of the people in this county are not going to be getting money from solar. I encourage you to put some protection in place for those people. And I think you found out that people that are having a solar fence and panels 50 feet from the property line has been an issue, and rightfully so. I would also encourage, including in that final ordinance, a property value protection plan. There's all kinds of studies out there. Most of them have been funded by solar, but there have been 3 large studies, one in New Jersey, Texas, and Kentucky. And they're very, very thorough. You can check them out. They list all the total amount of figures and they've looked at, and they've broken this down, the impact, you know, right next to it, all the way out to 3 miles. And what they have found is that the closer you are to the solar panels, the more impact it has on your property value, and decreasingly till you get out to 3 miles. So as you're doing your study, those are all available online, quite extensive reading. I read them. So I encourage you to look at them. As you take your time doing this, I commend you, because you're making a decision that's going to affect this county for 30 years and after. So I appreciate you studying it as best you can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We'll take one more person if anybody would like to speak.
I do, but it'll take me a minute to get.
That's all right, sir. Take your time.
You take your time. That's a pretty fancy cane.
My name's Charles Weaver. I have a farm over at Swayze. I commend the commissioners and the head of the departments for how they've handled their meetings in the past and how they have presented to us. Am I for solar? Am I against solar? I'm in the middle. I see both sides. I've been looking at both sides, and Mr. King said he did a lot of studying, and I had too. But I'm coming up with different figures than what he did. But regardless of that, we'll get to that later in the meeting that you have where we all get together. But I received a pamphlet in the mail that asked, I think the headline said, do you know what's going on in your county? And it told about setbacks. It told about what your property was going to devaluate. It told about how had razor wire fencing, things such as that. And I looked each one of them up, and I've been around to approximately 15 different solar places here in Indiana and 3 in eastern or western Ohio. And all of them are kept neat. None of them have razor wire. And the depreciation, as Mr. King said, the largest study in the United States, and I have that where it came from on the internet, but I wasn't prepared to bring that with me because I didn't think it'd be brought up. The devaluation on the average, and it wasn't the same states. It was Minnesota, Wisconsin, another one up north, and then Virginia, West Virginia, and I think North Carolina. It averaged out to be 1.7 depreciation on housing, and it wasn't out 3 mile. It was within a half a mile to a mile of difference of the states of what they studied. And I think if you read about Gas City has 2 solar fields, and I don't know whether most people know that or not, but they're kept nice, they look nice. Mayor Leach, when they were put in, told how much it's helped the city in tax-wise and how much it's helped in heating their 22,000 homes, or I think it's 22,000 homes. Don't hold that against me, but it was for that, and how much Oak Hill, it's helped Oak Hill School, how much it's helped Eastern School. And I know these are small ones. Small ones are like 4,500 panels. Eastern is 5,400 panels. But just the tax revenue that this county needs to bring in to help with the jail, to help with schooling, and that is the solar will help with that. And I want the facts to be known. And this pamphlet was put out, it seems to me like that we worry about people bullying our kids in school, and this pamphlet seemed like it was trying to bully us into me and other people that got the pamphlet, bullying them into thinking their way instead of thinking on their own. If you have a farm and you don't want solar, don't put it in. If you have a farm and you want to sign up with solar, go ahead and do that. If you live in town and you don't like to drive past a solar field, then go a different direction. I don't know. I mean, corn all the way around you is 3 feet. It's taller than the solar. They said solar panels were 20 foot tall. The highest one I've measured is 10. That's mounted. But I just want to know the facts. Make up your own decision. Don't let somebody else bully you into talking about solar or the downfalls of solar, the emission. And I know I've read the ordinance, and it's in there on what happens if it's bankruptcy, what happens for everyone. They put in drainage as protection in there, how they take care of drainage, and you guys have done a good job. The only way that I think that this could be harmful to the people that want it is measuring the setbacks or increasing the setbacks. And I looked at Wabash County, I looked at Miami County, which is 150-foot setback. Frankfurt, which has a huge solar, they're still in construction. I went over there and talked to the people, and their setback is 300 foot. Now, 300 foot's the length of a football field. And if you ever sat in the end zone and watched a football game, you know you can't tell what's going on at the other end. So I just, again, want to congratulate you guys on the way you handle yourself and the way you've controlled the crowd. But I want people to make their own decision. If they're against it, that's fine. So don't put it on your property. And it's cheaper. We get more renewable energy from solar without the cost of big tractors, big this. It's a crop. It's another crop for us farmers to have a choice to put in beans, wheat, corn, oats, potatoes, pickles, solar. And but I appreciate you allowing me to come up, and I'm looking forward to the meeting that we have and discuss it all. But do it individually. Think individually, and you commissioners have taken a lot of heat, and you've handled it well, and you've done a lot of research. And if anybody thinks they can do a better job, throw their hat in the ring and see how tough these jobs are. I don't want no part of it. I don't know how you guys do it with 3 people, but and these people here do a hell of a job, or excuse me, heck of a job too. So thanks a lot for what you do in your service.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. I appreciate it. Our next meeting will be Monday, March 18th. We are in recess.